welcome to the Webcast for Monday, February 9th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. We have partly cloudy skies this morning as mid and high-level clouds are starting to filter in ahead of a weather system approaching from offshore. We'll squeeze out one last day of dry weather today before a major pattern change begins to take shape for the West Coast. We still have a weakening area of high pressure over us today, so it's going to be another warm day with the clouds knocking only a few degrees off the temperatures, mostly in central California. But we'll still be well into the 70s and low 80s for highs across much of Southern California. Minimum humidity will be mainly in the 15 to 30% range away from the wetter San Joaquin Valley today, and winds will be light in most areas. But this is it in terms of the prolonged, very warm and dry pattern we've been dealing with for pretty much the entirety of the past 5 weeks or so. As high pressure continues to weaken, that offshore trough that's throwing a few clouds our way today will move into the West Coast Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing a change to cooler and wetter weather. A short-lived period of weak high pressure and light offshore flow will follow for the end of this week as we get in between weather systems. And then the major pattern change hits Sunday and well into next week as a series of very strong and very cold Pacific troughs look to slam into the West Coast, bringing major rain and snow impacts to all of California. For the first storm system this week, we'll see periods of rain begin to move across the region starting early Tuesday and continuing through Wednesday night, arriving earliest and remaining steadiest over central California. This is not a major weather system, although it has trended somewhat stronger and wetter over the past few days versus some of the early indications from last week. Most foothill and mountain locations will receive between a half-inch and an inch and a half of rainfall through Thursday morning, and most coast and valley locations will receive a quarter-inch to an inch of rainfall. However, portions of the Sierra as well as the high terrain of the Big Sur coast will likely receive around 2 inches of rainfall, and in some cases even a little higher. The snow level will start out between 6,000 and 7,000 feet, and then drop to 5,000 to 6,000 feet by Wednesday morning. So overall, this is neither a very cold nor a very warm system, and significant snowfall is expected across the higher terrain of the Sierra. Significant cooling will occur Tuesday and Wednesday, with temperatures around 10 degrees below normal by Wednesday. South to west winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour with gusts to 50 miles per hour will also surface across the mountain ridges and desert passes from Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday morning. As weak high pressure briefly builds in, there will be a warming and drying trend for late in the week. Temperatures will be near normal by Friday and Saturday as valley highs recover into the mid-60s to low 70s under a light offshore flow regime. But the big weather story really does look to be what's coming next week, starting as early as Sunday and likely continuing through most or all of next week as a series of Pacific troughs slam the region with what looks like potentially heavy to extreme precipitation, as well as very low snow levels and strong southerly to westerly winds. It is definitely still a little early for too many specifics on next week's storm sequence, but the early indications are extremely impressive and suggestive of an unusually high-impact event, particularly in terms of very low snow levels overlapping with significant amounts of lift and moisture. This is definitely a period to keep a very close eye on, and it's safe to say our current warm and dry pattern will soon be just a distant memory. As our first storm system moves through this week, significant moistening trends can be expected in our dead fuels. Those trends will level out late in the week before significant moistening resumes early next week. The return of precipitation to the region will keep our significant fire potential in the little to none category for the foreseeable future. We definitely need the rain as initial attack activity has gradually ticked up after weeks of warm and dry weather, although widespread green-up continues to preclude significant fire spread potential. And the upcoming pattern change will certainly be great news for the ailing snowpack, not only across California but all of the West, with major snowpack gains being a certainty through the end of next week. However, there will likely be adverse effects as well, and significant resource mobilization needs are possible next week in response to the impending storm sequence. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, February 11th.